die to get sober, and we don't have to, but thanks for sharing, man. They get drunks in Ireland just like they got them here, So, it's a day at a time, man, one day at a time, and I don't know. Used to hear a lot of different stuff that say it doesn't matter if you come from Yale or jail. I still ain't made, I've been around a few 24 hours, I still haven't met a drunk from Yale yet, Met a whole lot in jail, but not one drunk have I met from, let me know if you're from Yale, will you? But that means that, it doesn't matter. Most of these promises, the first word is we, And I like that, we, and some guys were giving me, Kenny, I thought we were, I said, look, man, how did we become French all of a sudden? We, But it's right, other people have been going through what I've gone through, different place, different country, island, the same shit. They said the booze will be the final convincer. They used to say if you're an alcoholic and you keep drinking, your life is gonna get worse. That's why coming around here, they used to say 30, 60, 90, keep going to think, And they summoned it to me, used to say, well, if you ain't an alcoholic, we'll gladly refund your misery, man, Because sometimes bad shit happens around here, And some of the things you mentioned, it's, it's good stuff, anonymity, and half the time I don't know what day it is, you know what I mean? I go around, I just try to keep, I used to teach boxing in that gym at Dodge. I didn't know, I went over to teach it and they said, Kenny, no, we're closed, man. They closed the place. So they have my stuff in a big bag. So, you want to fight in here, I got some gloves in the car, okay? You can take it, you can put the gloves on. It's around my car, but thank God this thing, like I say, all I gotta do is 24 hours, One day without one drink, and asking yourself questions is a good thing. Challenges. I remember, I got 5 kids. Remember having potty train them, ask them questions. What do you do next? Yeah, flush the toilet, man. Don't forget to flush it, okay. That's how someone learns. When you ask someone questions, it challenges them, That's why in here I go every day. Kenny, how do you go one day without one drink? And that's what they broke it down to me. The hoop you gotta jump ain't that big, Kenny. One day. How do you go one day without one drink? And I still do it the same. I've had a big thing, a big controversy for years in my head with the, with the higher power thing, especially in this state where they broke down that thing with the Catholic Church with somebody doing something pretty bad, but they broke it down to me. They say, Kenny, religion is man-made, but faith is God-given. That's why I love drunkalogs and shit. Some people used to say, one guy in front of me, I said, Kenny, I got here the day before I died. Some people gotta die to get sober. Rob remembers my old lady, Robin, like yesterday. She's dead. And then she's gonna die. She did. So it does happen. You keep drinking, penal institution, every detox around, mental institution. Hey, I've been to Bridgewater, or death, you're gonna die, you keep drinking, But in here, it's great. We break it down. My friend used to say the first word and the first step is we. We, because it's a fellowship, is a gathering of equals, you know what I mean? I'm not unique. Kenny, I was using unique, and my sponsor used to humble me a lot. He'd say, yeah, how do you catch a unique rabbit? I said, how? He said, unique up on him, man. So, I'm not unique, I'm a part of a fellowship.
I tell you that, Joe.
Huh? Did you give it? All right, he gave it. I'm a unique rabbit. Okay, that was you. But it's break it down. It's a fellowship, and it's a good thing we get, and keep coming a day at a time. I was even, like I said, I went and got this Halloween candy. I got 4 or 5, man. It's, Jesus. Some of these guys trick-or-treating had to be my age, man. I said, ain't you a little old for this, fella? I don't know. That was both, yeah. So, but I got it done. Mission before the man. I handed out the, I handed out candy and, got it done. Even asked me, some lady with a husband, some asked me, what are you dressed up? Yes, I said, thug and a hoodlum. Yeah, I am what I am, man. Day at a time. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Kenny.
Thanks for sharing. Then having my friends speak on stuff the day before you died. I mean, I can identify with that. I spent my first 10 days in this fellowship in the ICU. That saved my life. But I did the exact opposite of you. I had a huge finger problem, so I moved to Ireland. I got a citizenship, and I took home a wife. And she's not from Ireland because there was nobody from Ireland in Ireland. I got a Swedish wife. So anyway, these boys know that the people that are around have been having a very, very tough time lately. Not with booze, but with just general stress. I got 20. I'm working on my 20th year sober. And I was on the phone with my sponsor at 6 a.m. this morning. Basically, the stress is, I have tenant issues. And, but then I just got a text, she's like, oh, look, I said, I apologize if you slid it off to the rest. Like, oh, we'll paint it. And I was like, are you shitting me? I've been stressed out about this for the last 36 hours. I was up there till 9:30 last night. I was there again at 7 o'clock this morning. The guy even took my smoke detectors. Those are $40 a piece. 2 doors are off the hinges, and he's like, oh, I want my security deposit back. And I was like, but this is Massachusetts. I don't want to get too far away from AA, but, a day at a time, man. I was there at 10 up, and I'm never really early. I was on the phone with my sister. I don't know how to ever talk to my sister. I was like my sponsor and I talked for 20 minutes this morning, and he knew something was up because I never call him early in the morning. I usually just send a text occasionally, He's like, what's going on? I said, I'm not drinking. I'm not thinking about drinking. With the other stuff in life, that life happens on life's terms, he's like, yeah, I got it. He's like, just do it. He's a landlord also. He's like, do one thing at a time. I know Martin's laughing over here, because Martin had more landlord runs than any person in history. Anyway, I feel a hell of a lot better. I just lighten my load, but also because I was up there trying to do the right thing, and I can't fix everything because I'm not that handy. So I was like, listen, I'll get somebody in there, we'll take care of the damage, we'll take care of that. And she's like, well, I'll paint up. Oh, can I fill the holes? I'm like, please do. So, but I didn't react and go form a posse at the bar. Those posses you do, and you like, oh, this is wrong, and they'd be like, yeah, that's wrong, so let's go get it, and they'd be like, you mean now? So anyway, thanks for opening the hall today, and I'm glad to be here, thank you.
It's my stress ball too. I'm real stressed. Looks like
You get it after class.
Looks like the mice are chasing around my house.
Thanks for stepping up, sharing your story. I'm an alcoholic, and my life was unmanageable, and I had to come in here. First step, the atomic reaction step, devastation, nuclear disaster, flattened, nothing left. And that's where I had to start. I couldn't backfill the hole until there was dirt out of the hole, and I took it out of the hole, and then I had to backfill the hole. There's a lot of what the big book calls altruistic stuff going on here, people helping people and using their experience to help others. No matter how long you've been sober, you needed that first day, you need that first hour to start the journey, you have to take that first step. And, you know, I came into the right place. You touched a lot of notes there. You know, I was mandated into the program. You touched a lot on institutional sobriety, you know, where you're told where you're gonna get up in the morning, what time breakfast is served, you're in line, you got the dish that they're giving you. And, you know, if you maintain, you start getting choices back in your life. You know, and that's what I got when I came in here. You know, I realized I got a choice now. Alcohol's not calling the shots. Sometimes I call the shots, I make my decision. When I wake up with untreated alcoholism, but when I hit my knees and deal with my third step prayer, I'm making the choice in recovery. They got something called a preamble in here. It's twofold in nature. My primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Unless I can achieve this day of abstinence for my health, myself, I'm of no service to other people. You know, when the airline starts going down and the cabin pressure drops and the mask drops down from overhead, you gotta breathe it in for yourself. And then if it doesn't drop for the passenger beside you, you can hand it to him and breathe it back and forth, and you share your recovery. You know, but that's what this program's about. It's about love and service. And it's about identifying with the newcomer and trying to be there and tell that new person that it works for you. The first step is the atom bomb, but the rest of the steps is learning how to live and relate to God, to another person, to yourself, having this spiritual awakening, this psychic change that the shrink Young talks about in the big book. But I just can't read the big book and read the literature and think I'm going to stay sober. I need the flesh and blood of the program. I need the meetings. For me, the most important step's the doorstep. I say that all the time because that's where you meet the newcomers. The newcomers coming in off the battle lines, beaten down, just like you were, and I identify with them, you know, the trouble. But you dig yourself out, and when you're digging, you give someone else a hand, and you can help backfill their whole too. So if you're new to AA, don't sweat it. When I came in, they used to leave these messages on the chair, and one of them said, "Good morning, this is God. Relax, enjoy your day, I'll handle your problems today." That's the message of Alcoholics Anonymous, love and service. Thanks for stepping up there. You've been a fixture here for 15 months. You sat over at that table by the door. You go to your meetings and you sit beside a couple of guys there every time. You never go away. You're always there. Your voice is loud, and you're a good spokesman for Alcoholics Anonymous, and you reach out to the newcomer. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah.
Hi, Maureen.
Maureen.
Hi, thank you for your service and thank you for sharing. The 12 steps definitely saved my life. I've been around the program for years and years and years, and my story is one of relapse and many relapses. And I blew my life up, and I did it willingly because I did what I needed to do to get what I needed to get just to be normal. And I am so grateful today that when I wake up and I might have a list of tasks or I have to go to work, that I can just get up and do that. And that I'm not, still tortured with the desire. That has been removed, thank God. And that was done through the steps. I have the same sponsor for the last 9 years, and she took her time every week. We would sit and we would go through the book painstakingly and really had to look at myself, because the years prior I would come to meetings, I would stand at the podium, yada, yada, yada. I would take a couple of the steps. It was all cafeteria, and my life wasn't really improving because I wasn't willing to look at myself and to make the changes that were needed. I tried my best to live by the steps today, and yes, well, this past week, I started losing some of the promises because fear came back into my life. Situations that baffled me were back in my life. Financial insecurity, you know, things that I thought, all of a sudden I was the great I am, and God was, you know, He was gonna take my advice instead of me listening and seeing what His advice for me would be. And I became crazy. Oh my God, crazy to the point that it was like driving down the highway, and if somebody came near my lane, I didn't care, because I wanted to just die. And I had to look at that. I also have, you know, depression, so the season change can be a lot for me. And awareness is key. And this week, I just let it all go to the wayside. So when I woke up today and I was talking to my sponsor, didn't have to go to work, didn't have a list of commitments, and I realized I have to start committing back to me. I have to be able to say, like, I am the most important person in my life today, because if I don't do what I need to do for me, nobody else is gonna benefit either. You know, I lost a marriage, a job, you know, everything that you can lose when you're out there, issues with the law, the whole 9 yards. I now today am friends with my ex-husband. We actually live in the same home. We can still push each other's buttons, and some days that's okay. I try to have fun in life. The most important thing is, after asking, you know, for God's guidance and grace in the morning, I go about my day and I truly do try to help others. I work in the mental health industry. I'm surrounded by people that need help, and it gives me purpose. And I find that when I'm not doing what I feel I was given this gift again for, I get lost. And that's when I can get into my head. And after this week, you know, things worked out as they always do. You know, that panic and that fear and then that craziness comes in, and I waste all that time that I can never get back, and all that energy that wasn't necessary. I'm emotionally exhausted, and I want to die, and that's in sobriety. That's in like good sobriety, but it wasn't that great at the time. So, you know, it was like, what better place to get my ass to? Get my ass to a meeting, hear what I need to hear today, and it'll be okay. Just like it was okay yesterday, but I want content and peace. I want to be okay in my own skin. I don't want to be feeling like I don't belong, or that I'm being judged, or I just don't want any of the bullshit that my head can create for me. If I don't keep it real, if I don't share what's going on inside of me, and instead of sharing all that, I don't even know how to describe how ugly it feels when I'm not on the beam. So thank you so much for your service. Thank you everyone for being here, and yeah, it's a beautiful Saturday. I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks.
Joe?
Hi, I'm Joe, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Joe.
Just thinking, talking about depression, the Bermuda Triangle's coming up for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. But I was at a meeting Monday night, someone else mentioned something else too. Daylight savings time can be depressing too.
Big time.
And maybe that's why we have a good, everyone knows, because tonight's daylight savings time. Another reminder, set your clocks back tonight.
Tonight, right?
Yeah, tonight, yes. Tonight. But that could be depressing too, you know, because it's getting dark earlier, and, you know, but this is great. You know, we get our feelings. We can come in here and tell people how we're feeling, instead of going across the street and having that drink. Because that's what I used to do when Cappy's was there. You know, and they used to pour big drinks too. But I don't need them drinks anymore. If I'm feeling something bad, I can just let it out, you know? And let things, because everything that clicks, not cross-talking, Steve mentioned, he could have gotten an accident at 8 o'clock in the morning. And that made me think. My last active years of alcohol, I could have got a DUI going to work, going to lunch, coming home from work. If I went out to go get a pizza at night, I would have got a DUI 24 hours a day. And that's why I never had hangovers, because I was never sober. But, and then after Scott said that, I said a prayer. Thank you, Lord, for not letting me. Imagine the pain I would have had to live with if I did hurt someone.
Yeah.
And it was so possible. And it can still be, if I pick up one drink, that possibility, those odds are gonna get a lot better now. Because with what I was told in there, it only takes me one drink to get me drunk now. You know? Before I used to say I need a quart to get drunk. That ain't true for me anymore. It's just one little bit, because I can't have just one. I'm gonna continue. And I thank you, Evan. Don't forget to set those clocks back tonight. Thank you.
Get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, set my clock, right? Gotta get up at 2 o'clock though. Hey, I'm Steve, I'm an alcoholic. This is my sister-in-law. Yeah, I just,
There goes the anonymous, huh?
yeah. But, yeah, we worry about things that, we got no control over. But, we were talking about this just yesterday. We worry about stupid things, and we drive ourselves nuts with this. And, my sponsor, I used to call him like 3 or 4 times a day and say, I got this problem, I got that problem, what do I do, what do I do? He says, don't worry about it. This too will pass. And the shit about it is, it always does pass, but I make a big deal out of it because I love wallowing in my own shit, and we make our trouble even worse. We overthink everything. The worst problem I have is in my head. And that's usually, I create my own problems. I focus on the problem, and I build on the problem. And I become the problem. And all I have to do is stop. And we don't want to stop. We love living in that pain. Oh, it's your fault. Then we start blaming everybody around us for our problems. And then we start picking our things up that other people are doing, which we do. But God forbid, we start talking about each other, telling on each other. It's we're our own worst enemies. And all we have to do is relax, just talk to God and ask him what to do. And he'll show up at his time, not your time, but at his time. He'll send something to you. If you look back to your whole life, there's been those God moments that, whenever you said, oh God, those were the moments that you needed them, but somehow you made it through it. And you start looking back through your life, all those moments, you had nothing to worry about. God had you. He had your back. So at nighttime, just say thank you, That's all you gotta do, simple. It's like talking to, anything. It's just pray in the morning to help somebody else out in the day, be a better person, and at nighttime, just say thank you. Thank you for a wonderful day, That's all I got. Thanks, Steve.
Bye-bye. I gotta go. Oh, that was good. That was real good. I'm out of here. Headed back to the Crizzle. But yeah, man, it's another day without a drink. So it's the meeting. See, I just don't talk it. I be about it. Holler at your boy, another day without a drink. Recovery.